servant to the people of Queensland and Australia, I speak in support of Senator Hanson's bill, the Australian Education Legislation Amendment, prohibiting the indoctrination of children bill. I support that because I have been the president of a board of a Montessori school. I've been on the advisory board of the International Montessori Council, and I agree that the primacy of the family, but the tripartite role between parents, teachers and child in understanding education and supporting. I want to correct something, though. The previous speaker seems to be having imagination running wild, because he said, "These men come in here." Well, Senator Hanson is a woman. She initiated this bill. She's a woman. During COVID, heavy-handed lockdowns forced children into learning from home, locked away from their friends and suffering through jerky attempts to teach through a Zoom screen. Of course, parents were locked up at home with their children as well, listening to their classes in a way they never could before. Many were absolutely shocked as they heard the rubbish being taught to their children for the very first time. This bill tries to steer education back to the basics, to give our children critical thinking skills and put the power back in parents' hands to make sure that's all they're being taught. The Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority would need to ensure in this bill to ensure education provides a balanced presentation of opposing views on political, historical and scientific issues. This bill, Senator Hanson's bill, would require that where opposing views exist, the Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority is to ensure the teaching profession is provided with the information, resources and support required to provide a balanced presentation to students. Wonderful. Federal funding would be conditional on states and territories requiring schools and their staff to provide a non-partisan education to students while consulting with parents and guardians on the extent this has been achieved. One Nation has been trying to keep this in check with motions condemning the teaching of critical race theory and the curriculum erasing history because it's said to be too white or Christian. There are lots of examples showing that stronger action is needed, and I commend Senator Antic and the others who spoke here today on that very point. There is, though, for example, the Parkdale Secondary College, where students were told to stand up if they were straight, white, Christian males, and be humiliated by the class because they were, quote, oppressors. Without trial, they're oppressors. Then there's Brow College, where all the boys were forced to stand up at assembly and apologise to all of the girls on behalf of their agenda. No specific crime was mentioned or identified for these boys to apologise for, except that they were the wrong gender. And only today, One Nation New South Wales leader Mark Latham has drawn our attention to Mount Kiringai Public School. They are feeding fiction to students about history, forcing them to learn a play where Captain Cook arrives with the First Fleet in 1788 as a coloniser. For those who have forgotten history from their schooling, Captain Cook was long dead by the time of the First Fleet. This bill is necessary to stop examples like this infecting our children, return our teaching to the basics, restore balance to the way topics are presented and stop our schools being indoctrination centres. This bill puts the teaching of balanced, critical analysis and parents in the driver's seat of children's education, as they should be.